A pair of Ray-Bans costs around $200. A pair of Oakleys costs around $180. A pair of Persols costs $350. They're all made in the same factory in northeastern Italy by the same company. 5 sunglasses brands are charging you premium prices for the exact same plastic and metal coming off the exact same production line. 3 brands, several of them cheaper, are actually making their own product. By the end of this video, you'll know which is which. The sunglasses industry is one of the most quietly consolidated markets in fashion. One company controls most of the brand names you recognize, and most men spend $200 on a pair of glasses, without realizing they're paying a logo tax of about 90%. We ranked 8 sunglasses brands. 5 are charging you for licensing deals. 3 are putting your money into the actual frame and the actual lens, starting with the brand that practically invented the markup model. Before we move ahead, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Number 5. Ray-Ban. Ray-Ban was founded in 1936 in Rochester, New York by Bausch & Lomb, an American optical company that built the brand around military aviator sunglasses for the U.S. Army Air Corps. The Aviator and the Wayfarer became American cultural icons. Tom Cruise wore Wayfarers in Risky Business. Aviators became standard issue for pilots in every branch of the military. For nearly 6 decades, Ray-Ban was American-made, American-engineered, American-owned. In 1999, Bausch & Lomb sold Ray-Ban to Luxottica, an Italian eyewear conglomerate, for $640 million. The Rochester factories closed. Production moved to Luxottica's facilities in Agordo and Laureano in the Veneto region of northern Italy. Today, a pair of Ray-Ban aviators retails for around $190 to $220. Wayfarers run about the same. The frames are acetate or metal, standard materials available to any manufacturer. The lenses are mineral or polycarbonate, also standard. Industry analysts have estimated production costs in this category at $15 to $30 per unit. Luxottica has never disclosed exact figures, but the company's gross margin sits above 60%, which is publicly reported in their financial filings. Here's what that means in plain English. For every pair of Ray-Bans you buy, roughly 70 cents of every dollar covers something other than the glasses themselves. Marketing, brand licensing, retail markup, distribution. The frames are not bad, let me be clear about that. Luxottica's manufacturing quality control is genuinely good. The problem is not the construction, the problem is the price. You're paying $200 for a pair of glasses that costs roughly the same to produce as a pair selling for $40. The aviator design hasn't meaningfully changed since 1937. The marketing budget behind it has changed every single year for 9 decades. That's not a sunglass purchase, that's a tax on a logo. Number 4. Oakley. Oakley was founded in 1975 by Jim Jannard in his garage in Southern California. He started by making motocross hand grips, then moved into goggles, then sunglasses. By the 1990s, Oakley was the dominant performance eyewear brand in skiing, cycling, baseball, and military operations. Their patented lens technology, Plutonite, prism, high-definition optics, was real engineering. Oakley filed over 600 patents over the brand's first 3 decades. This was a serious technical company. In 2007, Luxottica acquired Oakley for $2.1 billion. That's the same Luxottica, the parent company of Ray-Ban, the same Italian conglomerate, the same factories. Today, a pair of Oakley Holbrooks retails for around $150 to $180. The frogskins run about the same. Some Oakley sport models still use prism lens technology, which is genuinely advanced and worth paying for if you're using them for cycling or fishing. But most Oakleys sold today are lifestyle frames. The Holbrook, the frogskins, the latch, standard acetate, standard polycarbonate lenses. Manufactured in the same facilities as Ray-Ban. Priced at the same premium. Carrying the same Luxottica margin. The Oakley brand still trades on its 90s technical reputation. The marketing still references performance, athletes, military use. But the lifestyle line you actually buy at the mall has the same production economics as the Wayfarers next to it on the shelf. Pre-2007. Oakley was an engineering company that happened to make sunglasses. After 2007, Oakley became a brand that Luxottica licenses to itself. If you want prism lenses for fishing, Oakley still delivers. If you want a Holbrook for casual wear, you're paying $150 for $40 of plastic with a brand stamp. Number 3. Persol. Persol is an Italian brand founded in 1917 in Turin by Giuseppe Ratti. Originally designed for military pilots and sports drivers, the brand built a reputation on hand-finished acetate frames and Maflecto stems, a flexible hinge system patented in 1938. Steve McQueen wore Persol 714s in the Thomas Crown affair. The brand carries genuine Italian eyewear heritage. Persol was acquired by Luxottica in 1995. Today, a pair of Persol 714s retails for $350 to $400. Standard 649s run around $300. The frames are made in the same facilities as Ray-Ban, with similar acetate and similar lens technology. Now, here's where I want to be fair. Persol's Italian acetate finishing is genuinely better than Ray-Ban's standard production. The hand polishing is real. The Maflecto hinge is real. There's actual additional craftsmanship at the Persol price point compared to Ray-Ban, but not $300 of additional craftsmanship. The pricing reflects what marketers call brand positioning. Persol is sold as the connoisseur's choice, the Steve McQueen Association, the Italian heritage, the premium tier within Luxottica's portfolio. For $350, you can buy a pair of sunglasses from a brand that owns its own factory, designs its own frames, and isn't paying licensing fees to a parent conglomerate. We'll get to those. Persol isn't a scam. Persol is a markup, a real brand made by a real factory, priced for a customer who values the Steve McQueen Association, not the actual glasses. Number 2. And this is a category, not a single brand. Designer licensed eyewear. Walk into any optical shop, look at the display. You'll see Prada sunglasses, Versace, Chanel, Dolce & Gabbana, Burberry, Tiffany, Tory Burch, Coach, Michael Kors, Ralph Lauren, Tom Ford. Almost every one of those brands is manufactured under license by either Luxottica or its main competitor, Kering Eyewear, or Essilor-Luxottica's other licensing arm. Here's how the licensing model works. The fashion house, let's say Prada, does not own a sunglasses factory. They sign a multi-year licensing agreement with Luxottica or Kering. The licensee designs the glasses, manufactures them, distributes them, and pays the fashion house a royalty fee per pair sold, typically 8 to 15% of wholesale. The Prada logo on the temple of those sunglasses is a rented logo. The factory is the same factory making Ray-Bans down the line. The acetate is the same acetate. The lens supplier is the same lens supplier. A pair of Prada sunglasses retails for $300 to $500. A pair of Tom Ford sunglasses runs $400 to $600. Versace sits in the same range. Industry sources estimate the licensee pays roughly $20 to $35 to actually make the frame, then adds wholesale margin. Then the fashion house collects its royalty. Then retail adds its margin. By the time it reaches your face, you're paying about 10 times the manufacturing cost for a frame that's functionally identical to a Ray-Ban with a different logo printed on the side. The fashion house doesn't make the glasses. The factory doesn't own the brand. The price you pay is the cost of routing one product through 3 corporate layers. If you wouldn't pay $300 for the same frame without the Prada logo, you're not buying sunglasses. You're buying the right to wear someone else's brand on your face for an afternoon. Number 1, and this one will be controversial. Maui Jim. Hold on before you click off. Let me explain. Maui Jim was founded in 1980 in Lahaina, Hawaii, selling sunglasses on the beach. The brand built a real reputation on polarized plus 2 lens technology, which is genuinely good polarized optics with color enhancement, particularly suited for tropical and water environments. For decades, Maui Jim was a privately held independent brand, one of the last serious optical companies in the United States not owned by Luxottica or Kering. In 2022, Maui Jim was acquired by Kering Eyewear, the eyewear division of the French luxury conglomerate that owns Gucci, Saint Laurent, and Bottega Veneta. Today, a pair of Maui Jim sunglasses retails for $200 to $450. The lenses are still genuinely good. The polarized optics are still better than what you get on a generic pair. That's real. But here's the issue. The pricing has not adjusted downward to reflect Kering's manufacturing economies of scale. The brand is still positioned as artisanal Hawaiian craftsmanship, while production has shifted under Kering's global supply chain. Frames now come from various international facilities. The Hawaiian brand mythology is doing heavy lifting that the manufacturing reality no longer supports. The lenses justify maybe $150, maybe $180 for the technical sport lines. The pricing sits at $250 to $450. The gap between the brand story and the corporate reality is now wider than the gap between the lens technology and the lens technology you can get for half the price. From brands that haven't sold to a luxury conglomerate, Maui Jim isn't a scam. The optics are real, but the price you're paying is anchored to a Hawaiian beach brand that no longer exists, not to the actual product you receive in 2026. Before we get to the 3 brands actually worth your money, you need 4 tests, 4 things you can check on any pair of sunglasses in any store to separate a real product from a marketing exercise. First, lens material. There are 3 categories. Glass, the highest optical clarity, scratch resistant, heaviest. Polycarbonate, lighter, impact resistant, slightly less optical clarity. CR39 plastic, lightest, cheapest, most common. The lens material should be printed on the inside of the temple or in the product specifications. If a brand isn't telling you what their lenses are made of, that's your first signal. Second, polarization quality. Polarized doesn't mean what most people think it means. There's quality polarization, where the polarized film is laminated between layers of lens material, and there's cheap polarization, where it's a thin film applied to the surface. The cheap version peels and degrades within 6 to 12 months. Quality polarization lasts a decade. The difference is invisible in the store. You can verify with a polarized lens test card if a brand is serious. Third, frame construction. Pick up the sunglasses. Flex the temples gently, not hard, just a small flex. A quality acetate frame has a slight memory and returns to position. A cheap injection molded frame feels rigid or flimsy. The hinges should be metal, pinned, and feel solid. Plastic hinges are an immediate downgrade signal at any price point. Fourth, the country of origin and the parent company. Italian-made under Luxottica is high-quality manufacturing, but you're paying a brand royalty layer, independently made in Japan, Germany, or France, by a brand that owns its own factory, means your money goes into the product, not into licensing fees. These 4 tests will tell you in 30 seconds whether you're holding a real piece of optical equipment or a fashion accessory pretending to be one. Every video on this channel applies these same tests. No brand deals, no sponsorships. If that's useful, subscribe. Number 1 of the 3 actually worth buying. Randolph Engineering. Randolph Engineering was founded in 1973 in Randolph, Massachusetts, by 2 Polish immigrants named Jan Waskiewicz and Stanley Zaleski. They started the company making metal parts for the optical industry. By 1982, Randolph won the contract to manufacture standard issue aviator sunglasses for the United States Air Force, a contract they still hold today. That bears repeating. Every fighter pilot in the U.S. Air Force is issued Randolph Engineering aviators, not Ray-Ban. Randolph. Randolph aviators retail for around $250 to $300. They are made by hand in Randolph, Massachusetts, in a factory the company has owned since 1973. Every pair goes through over 200 manufacturing steps with American workers using materials sourced primarily within the United States. The brand is still privately held by descendants of the original founders. The frames are bayonet-style aviators built to military specifications, designed to survive cockpit conditions, pressure changes, extreme temperatures, rough handling. The hinges are pinned. The lenses are American-made glass or polycarbonate. The construction will outlast a Ray-Ban aviator by an order of magnitude. Now compare this directly. Ray-Ban aviators, $200. Italian-made under Luxottica, made under license, carrying a 60% gross margin to cover Luxottica's brand portfolio. Randolph aviator, $250. American-made, family-owned, built to military specifications, the actual sunglasses our military pilots wear, for $50 more. You get a real product made by real American workers in a factory the founder's family still controls, versus a licensed brand made halfway around the world. This is the kind of brand that doesn't show up in Vogue or GQ. It shows up on the faces of the men who fly F-15s. Number 2. American Optical. American Optical Company was founded in 1833 in Southbridge, Massachusetts. That's not a typo. 1833. The company is older than the state of Texas. It's older than most countries. American Optical was the original supplier of military pilot sunglasses to the U.S. Armed Forces from the 1950s through the 1970s. Before that contract eventually moved to Randolph Engineering. The original pilot, the AO original pilot frame design, was the sunglass worn by Buzz Aldrin during the Apollo 11 moon landing. There is documented photographic evidence of this. American Optical sunglasses literally went to the moon. The brand has changed hands multiple times, and the modern American Optical operation is smaller than its mid-20th century peak. But the original pilot is still in production, still made by American Optical, still carries the same heritage design that the original Apollo astronauts wore. Retail price runs from $150 to $200 depending on the configuration. Bayonet temples, pinned hinges, real glass lenses on the Heritage model, an honest American Optical product at a price below Ray-Ban. This is the comparison that should end the conversation. Ray-Ban aviators, $200, Italian-made, brand royalties going to Luxottica's headquarters in Milan. American Optical original pilot, $150 to $200, the original American aviator, the same design Buzz Aldrin wore on the moon, still made by the original company, at a lower price. The man who set foot on the moon wore American Optical. The man buying Ray-Bans at the mall in 2026 is wearing a brand that licensed its name to an Italian conglomerate 2 decades ago. One of these is a sunglass purchase, the other is a marketing purchase. The price tag will not tell you which is which. Number 3, and this depends on your budget. If you want the absolute best, the answer is Japanese-made eyewear. Specifically, brands like Ivan 7285, Matsuda, Native Sons, or for the higher tier, Jacques-Marie Mage. Japan has a regional eyewear manufacturing tradition centered in Sabae, Fukui Prefecture. Sabae produces about 95% of all eyewear made in Japan, and the city has been making frames continuously since 1905. The construction standards in Sabae are higher than anywhere else in the world. Hand-polished acetate that takes weeks to cure properly. Titanium frames assembled by craftsmen with decades of experience. Hinge work that exceeds anything coming out of Italian factories at any price point. A pair of Ivan 7285 sunglasses retails for $450 to $700. Matsuda runs $500 to $900. Jacques-Marie Mage, which is technically a Los Angeles-based brand but manufactures in Sabae, runs $600 to $1,200. These are not cheap. Let me be clear, this is the premium tier of the list. But here's the comparison. A pair of Tom Ford sunglasses retails for $500 to $600, made under license by Luxottica, in the same factory as a Ray-Ban, with a Tom Ford logo on the temple. A pair of Ivan 7285 sunglasses retails for $500, handmade in Sabae, Japan, by craftsmen who spent 20 years learning their trade, using acetate cured over 40 days. With hinge work that no Italian factory can match. Same price? Opposite product? If your budget is $200, go Randolph or American Optical. If your budget is $500, go Japanese. The one place you should not be spending $500 is on a Luxottica licensed designer logo. 8 brands. 2 industries. 1 question. 5 of those brands route your money through licensing layers, corporate parent margins, and brand royalties before any of it reaches the actual glasses on your face. 3 of those brands own their factories, cut their own frames, and deliver a product that connects directly to the price you pay. Here's the pattern. If a sunglasses brand is owned by Luxottica or Kering, you are paying a corporate margin. Full stop. The frames may still be quality, the optics may still be good. But there is no version of that purchase where your dollar reaches the manufacturing cost without passing through several layers of corporate accounting first. The 4 tests still apply. Check the lens material, verify the polarization quality, test the frame construction, read the country of origin and the parent company. Randolph Engineering, American Optical, and Sabae-made Japanese eyewear pass all 4 tests. Most of the brands on the first half of this list pass none of them. The men who know these brands tend to stay quiet about it. They wear Randolphs they bought a decade ago. They have an American Optical pair their father handed down. They saved up for one Ivan 7285 frame that they'll wear for 15 years. These are the men who were never looking for a logo. They were looking for sunglasses that do their job. And don't ask for attention. If you own a pair from one of the 3 hidden gems, drop the brand and how long you've had them in the comments. Help the next man find what he's missing. If you missed our breakdown on the menswear brands robbing you blind, it's linked below. Subscribe if you haven't. This channel follows the money, not the marketing.